Trevor Story has begun his rehab assignment in AAA Worcester. Are we in for a storybook ending this season in Boston? We're about to dig into it. In this video, we'll talk all about Trevor Story's return to the major leagues, his rehab assignment here this week, and we'll talk about the competition he'll face in the years to come and the overall outlook. So thank you all for joining me again. Sorry for the long delay. I've been moving all over the place, moving all over the country. I'm moving back in for college right now. So we should be getting back into a routine where we're just like we were at the trade deadline moving on forward. But I'm Evan Sharrard. Please make sure you subscribe to get all the latest on the Red Sox news. I know it hasn't been all the latest recently, but it will be again. So now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's get right into the post that led me to making this video in the first place. So we're going to take a look here at a post made by Nesson, which is all talking about Trevor Story's first game back with Worcester. So Worcester Red Sox are the AAA club for those who are unaware. Trevor Story knocked 2 hits, and that's good news. The Red Sox weren't really expecting to get him back this year. So it's really great news that Story is hitting, but that he is going to be coming back, because there were articles in April saying, hey, Trevor Story's done. Red Sox have to man up, next guy up mentality. And we're going to talk about that a little bit, because it really has turned into the next man mentality at the Red Sox major league level. But we're going to look at that right now, as a matter of fact. So who's the competition for Trevor Story when he returns? So we are going to look at his stats here. But these are Trevor Story stats this year and last year and all the years he's played in Major League Baseball. So he's only played 8 games this year. He leaped out to try and make a miraculous diving snag at short where he pretty much destroyed his shoulder, which is why he's been out for so long. And he really wasn't batting very well this year, and he hadn't batted very well the year before. But we can see that 5-year stretch there, 5 years it is, can't count here, where he's had an above 100 OPS plus. And like I always like to say, anything with those advanced stats where it's the pluses, those are based on 100 as a major league average. Anything above it is above average. Anything below it is below. So Trevor Story, majority of his career has been an above average hitter. Really exceptional in Colorado. And then that last year in Colorado dipped to 102 and then 102 again. And he hasn't played a full season really since he's come to the Red Sox. So that reminds you of anybody that might be winning a Cy Young in the NL this year. Chris Sale's been unbelievable. Love that guy. Brought us a World Series in 18. Maybe Story can do the same soon. So this is what Story's numbers look like. Let's take a look at some of the competition here, because he's got competition now. And when we talk about who's going to be coming up, here's Marcelo Mayer. He's one of the top picks in the last 5 years for the Red Sox, and he is the 4th-ranked prospect in all of Major League Baseball. He's slated to come up soon because it's September now, and that means that the September call-ups will be looming for Boston. And Marcelo Mayer's made his way up to AAA with his pal Kyle Teal and his other one, Roman Anthony. Those are the big 3 for the Red Sox. So AAA to the major leagues, we'll find out this year or next. Barring an injury, Marcelo Mayer is one of the better gloves in the organization, and someone that Red Sox fans, me and like, have been excited for a long time. So Story will likely be moving over to second base, but if he does play short, he does stand a good chance, especially because Mayer's so young. But on the other hand, when you have somebody who's playing as well as Ceddanne Rafaela this year, then we start to wonder, does Rafaela go out to the outfield? Does Story have that position at short? Are we moving him to second base? It's tough to tell. So we can bring up some of these graphics to get a better look at their stats. This is Story so far. Trevor Story, the 323 slug, not very good. His OPS plus is 71. So granted, he only had 8 games to do all this. Drove in 4, so about 0.5 runs per game. And the walk to strikeout ratio is fine, obviously. Not much to really look at there for Story. But when it comes to Ceddanne, he has really been playing above expectation this year, or at expectation, depending on how high you were on him. He reminds me a lot of Byron Buxton. For those who have watched baseball over the years and seen the Twins, Their center fielder won a Platinum Glove out there. That's this guy to me. In Major League comparison, Byron Buxton, a guy who hits a lot of homers and is really fast and plays exceptional defense. And so far, Rafaela hasn't had any of the injury problems that are the only thing that seem to be tearing Buxton down besides the low average occasionally. But Rafaela strikes out a ton, and he does not walk much. So that's going to be his biggest problem as a 23, nearly 24-year-old. But he hits for power, and he tends to make the plays defensively at a rate that maybe you wouldn't expect from someone who's as young as he is. But not only does he play shortstop, but he's primarily an outfielder, and this guy can play an elite center field, and you need that in Boston. And you might even put him in right, depending on what happens with Tyler O'Neill this next year as his contract is expiring. So that's the competition for Trevor Story. It's going to be pretty tough. A lot of the younger guys that are probably going to be pushing out Story to second base in the years to come, maybe even this season. And the Red Sox defense has been the worst in baseball, so they've really needed this help for some time. Rafaela has been nothing short of exceptional, and if Mayer comes up, you've got a really loaded infield, and you start to wonder, is Rafaela viable at third? And then Devers plays the designated hitter role, and then what do you do with Yoshida? And Rafael's probably not viable at third because he's so darn short, but Jose Ramirez plays over there, and he's not over 6'1". He's probably more around 5'11". So all those questions arise. What happens with the outfield? The future is kind of unknown, but what about the outlook for this year? So overall, when I am thinking about what we're going to be looking at here with Trevor Story and Ceddanne Rafaela, and potentially bringing in a guy like Marcelo Mayer up to the big leagues, we're looking at Mayer probably playing. If the Red Sox make the postseason, he won't be on the roster, I would assume, unless he absolutely lights fireworks for this team. And I'm not fully sure if the rule is that you must be on the 40-man before a certain date to make the Major League roster for the playoffs, or if you need to be on the Major League roster. So I'll have to touch up on that, but I'm not sure which one it is off the top of my head right now. So Mayer probably won't make that playoff roster if we make it there. The Red Sox are currently 3 games back in the wild card race, as we see my CPU going absolutely crazy here. So we'll just kind of bring these graphics up so you don't have to deal with me looking like that. So we'll just take a nice look at Ceddanne Rafaela. But sorry about that, guys. Rafaela will likely man second or center, and then we see who brings the DH spot. But Rafaela's played so good, you can't bench him. And then does Hamilton find his way to second base still, or do we bump him? The Red Sox have been bumping guys out to the infield from the minors. We've had Mickey Gasper playing some infield, and then we've also had some other guys come in and out. Romy Gonzalez always utilitying pretty much everywhere besides catcher. And even Wong has had some time at second, and I know he's played second before. He's been in the majors. So that's another question, where does Wong go? But really, Story comes back, and his stats probably look nothing like they do right now because, quite frankly, they're going to need some offensive firepower from Story as well. But the defense is really what you're counting on for Story when he comes back, because he was so darn good in the beginning of the year, and he's always been an elite glove on the left side of the infield. So overall, expect the Red Sox defense to improve. I can't see how it could get worse adding an elite level shortstop. But will it be enough to catch the Orioles and the Yankees? I don't think so. But I do think it's reasonable to think as a Red Sox fan and as a baseball analyst that the Red Sox can make a run in this wild card race. They're only 3 games back, which means that, hey, it's really up for grabs, and one team gets hot, one team gets cold. Baseball is not basketball, but both are games of runs. One's within a game and one is within a season, and baseball is the one within the season, meaning that a team gets hot, a team goes cold. That's when you trade places, and it seems sometimes those 3 3-game leads seem insurmountable, but they really aren't. And all it's going to take is the Red Sox pitching to continue to play how they have been for about the past week, and for the hitting to just come alive and just block out the noise and keep going, because they really are close, and hopefully they don't sputter out like they have the past few years. So Trevor Story will be adding a huge defensive presence on that left side of the infield, possibly the right if they put him at second. But all of that remains to be seen within the next few weeks. So go Red Sox. Thank you for listening to Red Sox Digest. Sorry again about the screen, but I will see you all next time.